All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I will be honest, I get so sad when I can't make live videos, so I'm deciding to squeeze one in. I am traveling for work, but I'm not gonna lie, I love doing this just so much, all right? So unfortunately, I can't do it after hours. You know, I like to do it when the market closes. We are still in live hours right now, as you see. So things might be moving as I speak, all right? But we are going to cover 3 stocks on this one. I don't know if I can do another one. I'll do my best. But we're going to look at AVTX, as you see on the screen, ICU, and MCOM, all right? AVTX I've been talking about for a few days. Today was a relatively scary day. I'm not going to lie. That's a little bit worse of a candle than I want to see. I think it's still a little too early to make drastic decisions, perhaps. But tomorrow could be bad. All right, so I'm gonna talk about both sides of the coin. You know that's what I do. All right, ICU. Hey, I will be so honest. We've been talking about ICU on the Chart Reader Discord for, I want to say, at least a week, if not maybe 2. And it's funny. I told the team before I left. I was like, you know, when I leave, generally something big happens. And yeah, I saw ICU move 75%. I'm super happy for the family that's in that. All right, and then MCOM. So I will personally tell you, I don't like MCOM. MCOM, I lost some money on a few recent trade attempts. I'm not exactly sure what the chart looks like, but I think it's had 2 decent days in a row, so I guess it's worth talking about. But yeah, I will be honest, I'm personally a little biased towards MCOM, and it's more on the don't trade it side because I've just been burned a couple times, all right? But all that said, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to talk about the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it all right? So let's get into it, and I'm zoomed out this much for a reason, all right? You know I'm gonna talk about the immediate, but there's a couple things I've been saying on the last few videos when I talk about AVTX, and I at least want to cover it in the beginning. It is far too early to be having gap fill dreams. It is far too early to have $2, almost $3 dreams. It's actually still way too early to have 100 moving average dreams sitting up at 84 cents, all right? I actually think it's still a little early to have 35-cent dreams here. Like, this is a 15-cent stock. This thing needs to get over 20 cents because all we did was this one little moment, right? So right now, 20 cents really should be the only immediate target. Everything else is, let's see what happens after 20, all right? But I'm seeing a lot of people talking about like big gap fills, $1 plus targets, this and that. Look, if you do that this early, and when I say this early, again, $1 on 15 cents is almost a 10x, right? Obviously 10x would take you to $1.50, but I mean, you get it, right? Like you going from 15 to 20 is a beautiful 33%. That right there is the first chunk. Anything else, we'll see what happens after it, all right? But just keep expectations realistic. I think it'll go such a long way, all right? From there, look, AVTX it hasn't been a great few days, all right? And I actually talked about it the last time I covered this stock. Yeah, I do see a little bit of an uptrend forming, right? But end of the day, right now, my focus is on the actual candles, all right? And you've heard me say it a bunch if you've been watching them, but this stock has an inability to do 2 good green candles in a row, all right? Yes, that's a green. Yes, that's a green. None of those 3 are good green candles. Like, this is the worst of the good ones, and I'll even take 2 of these in a row, right? But we get a good day, bad day, good day, bad day, few more, good day, bad day, good day, bad day, good day, bad day, good day, bad day. None of these count since then, all right? So the issue for me simply is, and continues to be, the inability to drop 2 good green candles in a row, all right? And now, sorry, my cat's at the door. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get out of here. Sorry about that. So for me, that's really what I was hunting, right? And I was honest with it. The uptrend hold and even the moving average hold just didn't scream to me the normal things that this inability of, and look, I was also honest, right? Like I was honest that I was using the 1 and the 2. Like there were indicators that were saying AVTX looked like it was ready. The sad thing just really is it obviously hasn't been, right? The one thing I want to talk about is actually today's volume. So today's volume, relatively speaking, has been really bad. All right, we've been averaging nearly 80 million shares a day. We're sub 50%, right? Like 40 is obviously around 50%. We're actually 25% lower than 50%, right? So I'm not trying to do the math in my head right now, but yeah, that's a big volume drop. Actually does make sense that we see this relatively big day down, right? And it's not a crazy candle. It's not a crazy candle, but it's further a drop than I wanted to see. It's a big loss of the 8 moving average. Again, there's still what, 2 hours, an hour and a half, an hour 15, whatever of trading. Maybe we can at least recover the 8, but right now I think losing this 8 moving average is going to be a little worrisome, to say the least. All right, now don't get me wrong, you know I don't care about a single day, right? Like if we go under the 8 today, I'm going to see what tomorrow confirms, right? But I think the fear actually is we're coming back to the 50 moving average. I actually really think 13 cents seems a little more likely than 20 cents. And what's making me say that, it's something I kind of mentioned. Look, this 50 moving average line, this red one right here, we're oscillating on it is kind of what I'm seeing. We go above it, we come below it, we go above it, we come below it, we go above it. It seems like we might be getting ready to do one more oscillation down. Just kind of what I'm looking at and what I'm using to make my predictions, right? So I also, like I said, I don't like the fact, like, look, we're sitting right here as of this minute, right? We already lost these last 2 candles. By lost, I mean we're well below them, and it almost seems like we actually come on, I'm not trying to touch the line. We aren't that far away from maybe even losing this one. So I wish we had a little bit more decimals to see it, but losing 2 candles, losing the trend line, losing the 8 moving average, I think this is making me worry, on top of the oscillation that we have been and continue to see basically for a month, right? From September 11th all the way to basically the what is it, the 18th, right? Give or take a month and a week, right? So nothing screams horrible here. Don't get me wrong, right? I'm not like, you know, throwing fear out. I'm actually not even talking about coming down here to 10-cent all-time lows. I think we're still over these 3 lines, right? And I still think that even if we go down below the 50, I can't imagine we would go much. Let me at least draw this. I think this is an important line to draw. If 12 cents starts to become a real price here, that can get scary. I think if 12 starts to become a little bit of a normal reality, that's when we'll actually start talking about 9 cents, right? But for now, it actually seems like this shouldn't go much lower than 13, okay? And in some ways, I actually might be wrong, because I literally just said we might oscillate under that, right? So hey, maybe we do oscillate under. Be careful. So okay, let me take my wording back as I'm like thinking things through. There's a good chance of a fake wick down, right? Oftentimes we talk about the fake wick up when it looks like you broke a resistance, but you actually didn't, and you end up going down. You might go under it and then quickly come back up, right? So I think this 12 is definitely a keep it in the back. Like, you know, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money, right? Like that's a real important thing. These 3 lines are getting really, really tight. I can see us starting to like maybe live between 12 and 16. I don't want to draw this. I don't think that there's much worth drawing the 16 line, but I think that's becoming the channel that we're living in. Just as I'm starting to kind of like look at things, let me zoom out just a little bit too. Where do you end? 15. Yeah, this one's tough, man. This one's real tough. And again, I feel like the best thing to actually do here is one of 2 things. Either wait for 17 or 18, or get in on the 3rd day. get 2 greens in a row. Make sure the indicators look good. If it looks like there's still gas in there, you should get a good third day. But yeah, AVTX is starting to move a little horizontal and starting to oscillate a little too much. Look, I see the 8 and the 20 actually kind of going up, right? Like that is an uptrending line. Again, I think I see more of a horizontal cluster than I see an uptrending 8 and 20. This was a very, very neutral review, and I feel really bad. But again, I think the big moral of the story is I have more reason to believe we're coming down to 12 cents than 20 cents. And I think 18 cents is starting to become our money line here. It really is. Yeah, I think that's a decent thing. What's the weekly telling us? Again, we're in the middle of the week. We're under the trend. Yeah, hopefully. And now look, this 12-cent line is actually kind of lining up pretty well with the 8 moving average. And you can see it's actually at 12 right here. I'm sure it's a high 12 cents, but oh man, yeah, I think again, this one's too tight. This one's too tight. I would wait for more of a confirmation up is really what I think. That's the last thing I can say. I don't have too much more here. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, let's come to ICU. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, I would very much appreciate it. But let's get into it. And hey, ICU, we have been watching this on the Chart Reader Discord for at least a week, maybe even 2 weeks. As I'm looking at this chart, I feel like it came up right here because I remember talking about oh no, maybe it was here, 54 cents. I remember talking about the 54 cents. I think it was around, either way, all right? Today was a nice day. Today we actually saw some news, some FDA approval is what I believe I saw. We are definitely over this pretty good plateau. We are sitting in a nice red, seemingly green. The RSI is not that horrible at 74. It wasn't that long ago. We were actually up in the 87s. Let me just kind of zoom out though. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. We were still in the 80s, still in the 80s. This was the SPAC time though. Volume was around 1.2K right here. Okay, so I'm gonna ignore these. What are you right here? No, that's too low. We're already over that. I'm okay with this. Look, I think we have just shown that in the beginning of the month, we were at, what was this day? Let me go back. We went from 70 to 81 to 87 to 86 to 85. Like we were living in, and what I'm doing right now is reading that RSI number in the box over there, right? But yeah, we were living in the 80s, came down, seemingly want to go back up. We get over the get over the 100 moving average, come back, bounce, come back, bounce. This looks like a W. I'm not much of a pattern trader, but W is for winning. And generally, yeah, that's what I see. Hopefully we don't, it's a little too, I don't think we're going to see an M. Yeah, this ain't no way. This is I think there's a lot of reason to believe we'll come to at least 106. If not, hey, maybe even higher to this 150 line right here. I'm zooming out to see where that 106 came from. Let me see if we got that 106 line off the weekly. It seems like we did. I'll be honest, this is a little lower than the 50% candle I probably would have drawn. Yeah, I'm going to change this 106 to 130. I think 130 is a better line. I don't know where that 106 came from. I'll be real on it. Was it half of that? Nope. Was it the top of that? Nope. I don't know where 106 came from. I'll be real honest. All right, whatever. Yeah, let's delete that thing. I think 131 is actually a relatively realistic target here. All right. Again, I very much like that we're over the highest candle on this side. Yeah, there's, where are we compared to this? Okay, I can see that 73 maybe being like a little bit, but I don't even think that 73 is very significant at all. Yeah, and look, we're obviously in live trading hours. This thing is still going up. We have, what's the next hour looking like? It's not a bad hour. It's actually not a bad hour. It's the next, what's the 15-minute chart looking like? It's not a bad 15-minute chart. I think we're going to actually have a decent next 15 minutes while I'm recording this. Cool. Yeah, again, there was actual good news. We have actually seemingly broken this 100 moving average. There is a W, and like I said, if there's one pattern I care about, it's W for winning, M for murder. I think there's a lot to like here. I think this 131 is a very realistic target, if not all the way up to the 200 around 158. Truth be told, though, the 200 moving average still coming down. So I think over the next coming days, it'll probably get around that 131, if not a little bit lower. So maybe the 200 moving average is probably what the target's going to be, but a lot to like on this right here. All right. The one thing I'll call out, look, volume was low yesterday. It popped today, but again, there was actual news, right? That said, it's really important that tomorrow stays around 90 million shares. All right. And the way I like to do that is, look, if I'm looking for 90 million shares and there's roughly 8 hours of trading, I need 11 million shares that first hour. If we can see 11 or more, oh, that's a really, really promising sign that tomorrow's going to keep going, all right? Really quickly, I don't like after hours, all right? If you've watched my videos before, you know that that's a very, very common thing I say. I think after hours is an easy trap. This thing can do some silly things after hours, I think both up and down, all right? If I was to at least say, like, on the worst case, what is it going to do? I think that's too low. I think 58 is too low. Yeah, I probably would have put 50% candle, which is roughly right there. I think as a worst case, there's a chance this comes back to 62 cents. I really, really think if this confirms, just it's gonna want to keep going, because again, red, green, right? So a lot to like here on ICU. Again, I think 62 cents is going to be the worst case. Ideally, we keep going up. It does look like we'll golden cross tomorrow, where the 20 goes over the 100 again. When a little one goes over a big one, that is a golden cross, right? So there was one right there, there was one right there, there was one right there, right? So golden crosses are good things. ICU, a lot to like on this one, actually. Let me know if you disagree or have any other thoughts. Otherwise, let's come into MCOM. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe, I would much appreciate it. But look, I will be very honest. I do my best to try to stay unbiased when I make these videos, all right? Unfortunately, I am a simple, basic human, and unfortunately, I have the same emotions that every single other human does, all right? MCOM is something I was watching, actually, and you hear me say it, right? Look, the 8 and the 20 are your worst enemy until it's not, all right? You just can't get over it, can't get over it, can't get over it, can't get over it, can't get over it. Maybe you do, but then the 20 swats you away. Can't get over it, can't get over it, can't go. Maybe you do, but then the 20, and then we actually hit the 50 right here too, and I'm assuming it was around here I started paying a little bit of attention to MCOM. We then do it again right here, and I'm pretty sure I lost a little bit of change on both attempts of the 50 moving average. And really, ever since then, MCOM and COSM, I've just really stayed away from, all right? We then kind of go back to what we've been doing, right? Which is go away from the 8, come up, go away, come up, go away, come up, right? And we do it a few times. We go down, we come up, we go down, we come up, and now it actually looks like we've gotten over, all right? I'm not too look, I doubt I'm also traveling, right? So like my time is a little tighter, and like I don't have the ability to do what I normally do, right? But I would not trade MCOM under the 50 moving average. Now, a move from 5 cents to 6 cents is another 20% move, all right? It's for sure a very healthy spacing between this and this, right? I obviously wish I had more decimals. This is where like more than 2 decimals comes in. It's very important, right? But that you can easily make the case that, yeah, if this gets over the 20, ride it up to the 50, all right? I don't know if we're going to break the 50. Obviously, we've tried it once, failed, tried it twice, failed. Little baby insignificant wick, but I'll even just give it a number 3 and fail. You know, I have to believe that we're going to still be failing this 50 moving out, because I keep zooming out and I keep, like, look at this thing. This thing has been essentially under that line the entire time with a few little moments, right? So I would love to trade from 6 all the way up to almost 12 to 11. That right there is a near 2x, right? I think it's really important to respect the 50, I think it's really important to remember the difficulty of breaking it. I think it's okay to put a 6 cent target here. And again, going from 5 to 6 might actually be worth it, right? I think there's a very, very, very real chance we don't ever cross over that 20 moving average. All right. Because again, we've been here before where we go down, we kind of get close, we go down, right? Like we go down, we kind of get close, we go down. Like this 20 has been a difficulty just as much as the 8 and kind of just as much as the 50, right? So for me, it's actually a little hard to believe that we're going to break that orange line. From there, I guess, yeah, if we break the orange, it's worth maybe considering a trade up there, right? I think for me, get me over the 50 before I even consider this thing, all right? Now, the volume has been legit the last 3 days in a row. Obviously, I see a little bit of a decline, but yeah, we are destroying the 50 moving average, which I like. And there has been significant more buying than selling the last few days too. Like, I don't think these 3 are going to cancel out those 5, right? Like, I can't do the math that quick in my head, right? But yeah, I'm glad more people have been buying the last few days than they have been selling off the last few, right? So that's always a good volume shift in my head. Obviously, the RSI is starting to peak up. The one thing to call though is maybe we're just coming back to the 51 before we go back down, right? Because this stock, it's done that. It goes very low, it comes to the 50, it goes very low, comes to the 50, it goes very low, comes to the 50, goes very low. Look, I have a bias towards this stock. It lost me money there, it lost me money there. I have to set a higher criteria for entry after I see that happen, right? Like, and I think I'm a little jaded with the words I'm saying. That's why I am being like, if you see across the 20, hey, that like going from 5 to 6 is a double-digit % move, right? Like it's silly for me to say just completely ignore it, especially when there's decent spacing and like nothing but black abyss from that line, right? Like there are very little resistances after you actually get over that 20 moving average line. That said, man, I've touched the hot pan a couple too many times and I don't think I want to touch it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, hey, you know it. I appreciate you so much.